And as our attendees join, we'll give them another minute or two, and then we'll go into the presentation. Okay. So I'd like to say thanks to everybody for joining us today, wherever you're from in the world. Could I have your first slide, Corey? So today I'd like to say thanks to everybody for joining us. Today we have presenters from a couple of different universities, community colleges across the New York State area. Up first is Susan Wellington with SUNY Broome. We have Arlene Spencer from SUNY Fulton, Montgomery. We have Z Tech Sim from SUNY Polytech, and we have Corey Spring from SUNY Rockland. Our presenters are going to talk to you about their individual institutions, but first I'm going to give you a quick overview of what is Study New York. So we are a not-for-profit consortium of more than 40 public colleges and universities. The goal of the Study New York Consortium is to promote New York as a destination for international students and scholars. So all of us in conjunction work together to not promote necessarily our individual institutions, although that is of course, the goal for the participants and the members, but really just to promote New York as a whole, to show students all the great educational opportunities they have and what kind of student life they can have living in New York. My name is Steve Soberjeski. I'm going to be the silent host for this meeting, and so I'd like to turn the presentation at this point over to Susan Wellington, who's going to talk to us about Broome. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everybody. My name is Susan Wellington. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions, International Student Services at SUNY Broome Community College. We are located in Binghamton, New York. So I'd like to welcome everybody and thank everyone for attending. So our community college is kind of small compared to other ones. We have a 14-to-1 student ratio with our professors. This fall of 2019, we had 6,771 students enrolled in degree programs. We offer over 70 programs, including 11 highly competitive programs, which is nursing, dental hygiene, clinical lab technicians, medical lab assistants. And we are also an ESL pathway program, so that if you're not very good with your English, you can come here, learn English, and then attend our college. We do not require a TOEFL score, so you can take our in-house ESL exam upon applying to the college. We also belong to the National College Juniors Athletic Association. We're a Division III athletic school. We have top-notch men's soccer, women's soccer, tennis, cross-country, volleyball, basketball, and we used to have hockey. We still have an ice rink, so you're able to go ice skating if you want. We have many student support services, especially for the international students, including tutoring, math services, labs. We have international student organizations. They go on trips, and we're centrally located in upstate New York. And I'll pass it over to Arlene.
Thank you, Susan. I'm from Fulton, Montgomery Community College. And as Susan mentioned, we're also in upstate New York. We're actually near Albany, which is the capital government seat of New York State. We're about 3 hours north of Manhattan or New York City. Our campus is a campus that has been well recognized as one of the best community colleges in the state. And we also are one of the best online colleges. We have several degree programs. Students complete completely online. And of course, during these days, we have all of our programs available. We have many international students who are studying at our campus online right now, all over the world. We have a great scholarship program that we offer to our students. It's actually about $5,000 a year, and that's guaranteed to every international student. So we encourage you to go to our website, fmcc.edu, and learn about where we're located in Johnstown, New York, and our friendly, supportive campus with over 40 degree programs and about 100 international students from 30 countries enroll annually.
Z-Tech, you're on mute.
Hey, I'm Z-Tech. I'm representing State University of New York Polytechnic Institute. We are a four-year university. What it means is we offer bachelor, master, and PhD program. So basically, if you go to a two-year community colleges within New York States, or even with other states, you can easily transfer to a four-year university to continue to pursue your bachelor or even master degree. So we have two campuses. We're also located in upstate New York, which is about 4 hours away from New York City. We have a train station very close by to the university. So the Utica campus is basically offer master and bachelor degree in all different kinds of degree programs. As you can see, our Albany campus, we only offer nanotechnology programs. We are the only universities in the United States that have corporations and academia coexist under one roof. Our Albany campus is basically a microchip processing center. So we have about 300 some companies, including IBM, Intel, Global Foundries, doing their research right on our campus. Next slide, please.
Hi, everyone. My name's Corey Spring. I am the Interim Assistant Director of Enrollment Services at Rockland Community College. Rockland we are the closest to New York City. We're about 25 miles outside of the city in Suffern, New York. So we are in the suburbs, but we do have easy access to and from Manhattan. We are about a medium-sized institution. We have about 6,000 students total, but we are a very diverse campus. I believe our students represent about 75 countries in total, coming from all different backgrounds. So we are very known to be very diverse, especially in the local population. We have over 50 programs of study to choose from: liberal arts, nursing, culinary, auto tech, business, accounting. So we have a lot of different programs that students can choose from here at RCC. We have been named in the top 150 community colleges a few times in the US by the Aspen Institute, which is a top ranker for community colleges in the United States. And of course, we are part of like all my colleagues here today, I am part of State University of New York, or SUNY, which we'll talk about a bit later. We also have a nationally recognized honors program at our college, the Sam Draper's Honors Program. About 400 students are enrolled in this program. And those students start here and really have gone everywhere. These students have been accepted to top tier 1 and Ivy League institutions, including Cornell, Columbia, MIT, Yale, NYU, Georgetown. And then we also, of course, they go on to many of our SUNY counterparts, including our flagships, Binghamton, Albany, and SUNY Poly for sure. And we are going to be talking about, how you can start a community college and really go on to a four-year college if that is your choice after you graduate from here, or you can go on to a career path. So we're going to talk a bit about the U.S. higher education system in the United States. We wanted to start off with that just to show you how the choices students have after they graduate high school. So the black line on the bottom of this image right here is pretty much, it represents graduation of high school or secondary school in the United States. So when students graduate from high school, if they choose to go on to higher education or post-secondary education, they do have a few options. So they can go straight into a four-year undergraduate program. They can go into a vocational technical institution to specialize in a certain career technical career, or they can go into junior or otherwise known as community colleges in the United States. So as you can see, the community college is a parallel pathway for U.S. high school graduates as it is to go on to a 4-year bachelor's degree. So a lot of students can either choose to go to community college and then go up and transfer to a 4-year degree to complete their bachelor's degree, or they can go straight to a bachelor's degree. So what is a community college in the United States? It pretty much is a 2-year institution that is equivalent to the first 2 years of a bachelor's degree in the US. And about more than 40% of Americans start their higher education program in a community college. The community colleges offer associate's degrees and other certificate programs. They offer a range of different programs. You know, there is more technical, career-oriented programs such as auto technology, I believe like HVAC systems, and also nursing, or there's liberal arts, culinary. So there's a lot of different programs that you can choose from when you start at a community college. And then one thing that community colleges do offer, it's what's called open enrollment. So open enrollment in the United States means that you generally just need to show to get admitted to the college that you have equivalent to a U.S. high school diploma to gain admission. Many colleges do not look at your grades. So let's say you didn't do so well in high school, but you still want to go on to a higher education. Community college is a good way to, you know, start out and, you know, get a fresh start for your higher education and improve those grades. It also is deemed a very affordable pathway to a 4-year degree in the United States. So community colleges, a lot of times, we'll talk more about that. My colleague Arlene's going to talk a bit more about the benefits of a community college, but the tuition itself, I can tell you, is about usually equivalent to 1/3 or less than 1/2 that you would pay at a private institution, 4-year institution in the United States. So if you start off at a community college, it is a great transfer path into a 4-year college. So a lot of times the typical formula that you'll see is that you'll do 2 years at a community college and you'll complete about 60 to 64 credits at a community college. And then you can do your final 2 years at a 4-year institution. And then you can come out with both an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree in the United States. So there are a lot of advantages of starting out at a community college, and it doesn't mean that when you start off at a community college, we have an array of students that are here. They can come from all different backgrounds. They can come from all different financial situations. They come from all different academic situations as well. So a community college can be for everyone and anyone to start off with. So it's a great path to choose when you are looking into getting into higher education here in the United States. And Arlene will tell you a bit more about why that is.
Thanks, Corey. Well, as Corey mentioned, a lot of American students start at a community college. In fact, 6.9 million students start their education at the 2-year level, obtaining their associate's degree, the 2-year college degree. I'm an alumni of Fulton Montgomery, as is my husband and my children and several of my sisters and brother and nieces and nephews. We all started our education at a community college. Many, many famous Americans also started their education at 2-year or community colleges. So it's a very popular way to start your education, and it can be a fresh start for some students, or it can be the best and the brightest coming early to get their college studies started quickly. So again, about half of all US high school students start their bachelor's degree at the community college. And it's a great place for international students. About 86,000 or more international students are in US community colleges studying towards their their US studies. So again, why a community college? Many, many different academic programs. We have not only transfer track programs, but we also have programs that will give you good career starts. So some of our students come for 2 years and then transfer, and other students come for a 1-year certificate or a 2-year associate's degree and want to go directly into the workforce. Corey had mentioned our affordable tuition. Often at a community college, you have very small classes and a lot of individual attention. I know on my campus, every faculty member knows all of the students enrolled in their courses by name and says hello to them in the hallways and really cares about them. We do have that flexible admission for most of our degree programs. No SATs are required. And not only do we have flexible admission, but we do have that rolling admission. So the typical deadline dates that you might find at a university, community colleges are usually much more flexible. A lot of support services for our students at community colleges, honors programs for our top students, and some of our community colleges also offer study abroad opportunities. So we've had American students study abroad. We've had international students who go to my school who have also then studied abroad. The outstanding transfer partnerships, both public and private institutions. A lot of our students at my school stay in New York State, so they look at the Study New York website and they find a school that may interest them. And of course, our faculty are top-notch. They are nationally recognized. They hold the highest degree level in their field of study. They often have real-world work experience in their studies, in the courses that they're teaching. And they just really want to teach at a community college, which is great. Our state-of-the-art facilities, and we're often very, very safe and have a wonderful campus atmosphere for our students. So getting back to the financial benefits of a community college, Corey mentioned that you are going to, first of all, have a much lower tuition, but also students have opportunities for internships because we do have a lot of programs that are applied. Where the students can apply then for CPT, curricular practical training, which means you can get perhaps a paid position while you're a student if you're doing an internship. And you can also apply for OPT, optional practical training for employment after your associate's degree. And so some students really like that they can work for 1 year after their associate's degree before they transfer for their bachelor's degree. And then some community colleges like here at Fulton Montgomery Community College have scholarship opportunities. So finally, I just want to stress that community colleges can be the perfect choice for students who wish to save money and reduce their dependence on school loans. It's also a good way to help recent high school graduates ease into college because we're smaller and we can give you a lot of personal attention. And we can help you build on those successful learning strategies before transferring to a much bigger and usually much more expensive four-year institution.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the SUNY system. So the State University of New York has been around since 1948, and it's the nation's largest comprehensive public university system. And we have evolved with the changing needs of students, communities, and the workforce. And if you look at the map, you can see where we are located. I tried to circle the 4 colleges that are speaking today, but I couldn't get it to work. So anyway, everyone had talked about how far away they were from New York City. And I just wanted to say New York is very large and we are spread out all over the state. So SUNY Broome is about 4 hours away from Manhattan by a bus, and a bus goes from Binghamton every 3 hours. And everyone else had said where they are. and means to the city. So international students can find the right pathway to their educational goals when they start at a community college. And once you've decided what you're looking for, you should be able to connect with an international student advisor. They're usually in admissions, and they'll be able to put you in the right track and assist you as you move through the SUNY system. We have a seamless transfer process from SUNY to SUNY, but you can also transfer to any school in the United States. We have each college here has an abundance of opportunities to share, and we look forward to working and meeting with you. And if any of my colleagues have anything to share with the SUNY system, jump in. Thank you.
Hi, this is Zitek. I'm representing State University of New York Polytechnic Institute. Like I said, this is a four-year university. I would strongly encourage students, especially international students that never been to the country before. I would encourage them to apply to a two-year community college, because if you've never been to this country, it would be very good to start in a small community college where you get a lot of attention. So what that means is the first 2 years, you will get your grades up, you learn the culture, you learn how to move around and stuff like that. After you finish your 2 years of your associate degree, when you move to a four-year university, because four-year universities are usually large universities with thousands and thousands of students. So it will make it easier for you to literally, learn how to move around, especially with the different methods of teachings, different from your country and all that. So I would strongly encourage international students to first start with a two-year community college. Next slide, please. Again, SUNY, State University of New York, has 64 campuses. There are 30 community colleges within the SUNY system. So you can basically choose to go to any two-year community colleges and then transfer to, there are 34 universities within the SUNY system. So you have the opportunity to choose from among 34 two-year community colleges. Once you finish your associate degree, you can choose from another 34 universities to pursue your bachelor degree. So this is a very good path for international students. Within the SUNY system, we have very similar programs, I think. Basically, this is from SUNY Polytechnic Institute. We are more STEM category, which means science, technology, engineering, and math. But we also have computer science and all that. But our programs are very similar to many other universities across the country. Next slide, please. Again, for international transfer scholarship, like I said, we have 34 universities within the SUNY system. We don't have the standard admissions requirement. We all have different admissions requirements. Just remember that wherever you apply to, whether within SUNY system or Cal States or whatever states that you're interested in, we all have different admissions requirements. Some universities require SAT, some don't, TOEFL and all that. So it all depends on where you go. But for us, for international transfer, we really have award a very excellent scholarship, 3 different levels of scholarship to transfer international students based on their GPA. That's why it is good to start at a 2-year community college where you can improve your grades, get a better grades. Like for example, even 3.25, you get $11,000, which is $5,000 per year, up to 2 years. The reason why it's up to 2 years is because you will spend 2 years at the university level after you finish associate degree. So there are many opportunities for international students, among either, 2-year community colleges or even, among the 34 universities within the SUNY system. Next slide, please. Again, tuition and fees across SUNY system, we are pretty close. Okay, some are higher, but basically it's about this range here. As you can see, the tuition can be from 8,000 to 10,000, 12,000 per semester, depending on where you go. Again, you know, the living expenses and all that, depending on where you go. The closer you get to to New York City, that big city, of course, the expenses are really high. That's why it is good to start somewhere outside. You know, I mean, there are many opportunities, meaning depending on your budgets. You know, if you have tight budgets, I would encourage you to stay away from New York City because in upstate or either Western New York or upstate or Central New York, it is very inexpensive to go to school there. So basically, this is just some of the idea about the tuition fees, you know, your housing and stuff like that. So usually for international students, if you are transferred from a 2-year community college to a 4-year university, you don't have to live on campus. You know, it's very inexpensive to live on to live outside the campus if you are, you know, living in upstate or even Western or Central New York. Next slide, please. Again, the transfer is very easy. You know, if you go to a 2-year community college within SUNY system, it's very straightforward. If you are coming from a SUNY's 2-year community college, when you transfer to a 4-year SUNY university, there is no application fee. The application fee will be waived for international students transferring from a 2-year SUNY school. And then the transfer, it's 2.5, you know, and above. Again, different universities have different admissions requirement. This is just ours. And we don't need TOEFL, we don't need, you know, IELTS, we don't need SAT and all that if you finish your English, you know, 101 or 102 from a 2-year community colleges. So if you look at this admissions requirement, it is pretty much the same as other 4-year SUNY universities. Okay. I think that's the end of my PowerPoint. Thank you.
So if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them in the Q&A, and we will do our best to answer them. But I hope you got a feel of, you know, what community colleges in the state of New York can offer you, and how it can be a great pathway to a 4-year university within SUNY, or even with outside of SUNY or anywhere in the United States. A lot of times with community colleges, you can start really at any community college and go anywhere within the United States and have your credits transferred and receive scholarships, receive other accolades. So there is an opportunity to really start here and go anywhere when you start out at a community college. And what better place to start at it than in the great state of New York? All right, let's see.
Thanks for our presenters. If we have students or any of our attendees on the line who would like to post some questions, I do have one question. I don't know if the participants would like to tackle this one. It's simply I think we're going to speak to the larger idea of sort of like you went through the slide earlier of what the hierarchy, so to speak, of like different colleges and universities are, but you know, clearly there wouldn't be postgraduate programs in architecture available at a community college, but maybe a pathway that a student might want to take to get there or something along those lines would be helpful.
Okay, so one pathway that I know a lot of people always talk about is pre-med or medical school. So one thing that you can do with a community college is that with medical school in the United States, you can't get directly into medical school right after you graduate high school. It is a long process. It is pretty much a post-grad option. So you have to first obtain a 4-year bachelor's degree and then apply to medical school. So one thing that you can do is you can start off as a community college, and you can start off, I always suggest liberal arts, math, science major, or community colleges might have different majors that fit that profile better, but it allows you to obtain the prerequisite requirements, the science classes and everything that you would need to transfer on into a bachelor's degree that has a pre-med track. So you can do your anatomy, physiology 1 and 2, you can get your microbiome, you can get all your prerequisite requirements for your first and second year of a 4-year degree, and then transfer on into a bachelor's degree. So you can do that with a lot of programs such as architecture, for instance. So like at RCC, we don't have, we have what's called AutoCAD, or computer assisted design. And so it's a certificate program, but you can take that along with an engineering program, and you can get some of the background or general classes that you may need to transfer on into an architecture program, because an architecture program is usually, I believe it's a 5-year program usually, or it's a post-grad program, it's a professional graduate school program. So the same with physical therapy, the same with a lot of different tracks. You can start off at a community college, get your base classes that you do need, and then transfer on, and you can still, do really well with those classes, get great grades, and bring up your GPA if you need to, save money, get more scholarships when you transfer. So that's one thing that is a real advantage of starting off at a community college, because you're in it for the long haul with those courses, and why not save a little bit when you're and start off at a community college and do really well in those base courses.
I also want to add in too, okay, even though, for example, architecture, right? If you go to a 2-year community college, basically you will study what we call general study to fulfill your science, social science, humanities, and all that. Okay, so let's say, even if you go to a university, a 4-year university, even though, for example, if I have architecture program, you don't get to do the first 1 year or 2 years specialized in that area. You still have to fulfill your English, your humanities, your social sciences and stuff like that. That's why we call the first 2 years is basically fulfilling the university requirement. And then on your 3rd year, you basically specialize in your specific area, whether it's architecture or medicine or computer science or whatever. So I just want to bring this point, regardless of where you go in the United States, if you are going to a 4-year university, the first 2 years is basically, what we call university requirement.
Great. Well, thanks for that, guys. We currently don't have any other questions in the queue. So would anybody like to add anything to the presentation? Questions, comments, concerns, or other pieces of information that might be helpful to students who will be hearing this webinar?
I would just like to add that we get a lot of students who have a degree already from their home country, but they're not quite ready to do graduate studies in the US. So a lot of students do start at the community college, but they'll transfer in maybe even up to a year of their program that they previously took in their home country. And so community colleges will offer all kinds of options to that student. So that's just something to keep in mind.
I'd also like to add, as far as some of the benefits of a community college, the one thing is that you can, just want to let everyone know that at a community college, you can work on campus as an F1 student. So there are opportunities to do that. There are a strong student involvement and student activities at community college. So you will be getting the true US experience as well. There are a lot of opportunities to get involved. There's a lot of times free tutoring services. There's community colleges are a great campus. Many community colleges to offer on-campus housing or have partnerships to offer campus housing. That's growing more and more as the years go by. But you'll find a really good support network at a community college. You are not just a number a lot of times. You won't get lost in huge lecture halls. As I believe Arlene was mentioning, like the teachers will know you and they'll make time to know who you are and make sure you're doing well. So you'll get a lot of support. It's a really good way to, ease your way into a U.S. education, higher education. And it's also very easy to transfer if you're worried about visa, immigration, anything. Transferring from an associate's degree to a four-year school is very easy as far as transferring your immigration information to them, as well as going on to a graduate school if you wish to go on afterwards. It's a seamless transfer usually with your immigration information. So you don't have to worry about having to go home, get a new visa and all that. It is fairly simple to transfer your immigration CVIS information to another school. So that's one thing that you would not really have to worry about too much, hopefully.
Okay, thank you guys. I think that about takes us to the end, unless there are any other comments that our presenters would like to make. For those of you who are with us, this presentation, like as I said earlier, is being recorded and will be made available on the Study New York YouTube page and website after the fact, and our participants will be reaching out to you afterwards to follow up. I want to say thanks to everybody for coming today, including our participants. And please visit us again for other events that we'll be holding in the future. You can visit us at studynewyork.us on the web. And we hope to see and hear from you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.